You wanna start?
Sure. Welcome back to Making Love. We are in our last day in Czech Republic, and we're filming this from the apartment that you were born in, your mother was born in, and that your grandmother lived in for a long time, and your cousin now let us stay in for a month. So it felt good to bring in some of the energy of this place that's held us while we're here. And I think we are both feeling the deepening of the beautiful spring in Europe and the onset of summer in North America for me and Spain for you, and then we'll meet back up. And it sounds like it feels like we're waking up from a dream. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're dreaming?
Wow. Yeah, I am feeling like today I woke up from a dream and it feels good. There's this like suddenly seeing of the dream within the dream and the dream. And when you wake up, you have these moments. Suddenly you're like, oh my God, what was that? It was like a bit of, where was I? There was a moment today where I was like, where was I this month? And there was so much processing and so much happening in my inner world that today, again, like I was looking at the city that we're leaving so soon, and I was touching this feeling of when we came here. There was like this melancholy, but excitement, but curiosity and fear, and also wishes and hopes and all that is within me. And then in the middle of our stay here, I wanted to run away, and I was so like not open actually looking at I was so in somehow on my journey and then now as I'm leaving tomorrow and we are leaving both and we're parting away, suddenly there's like, oh my God, like that would be so sweet to be here for another week. And suddenly I see the people in their spring clothes and everything is blooming. And also we've been here really through this like the end of like this European winter and this beautiful spring, and suddenly now it's like everything's green. And I had this moment of like, oh, even like with my family, oh, that would be nice to now stay for a little bit longer and just like enjoy the ease that I'm experiencing right now. But I know that this is a cycle and that cycle has closed, and it feels good to... It feels really good this time to leave, and I'm feeling I'm leaving with sense of closure, not running away. And that's for the first time, I think, really, like for the first time, where I'm not running away from my homeland and home birth city, and I'm actually leaving it with sense of closure and love for this place, for the people, for all that shaped me, for all the family, all the ancestors. Like I feel love, and that's first time and I feel love for you, and I feel like for the first time I had somebody being here with me, and like being here with me, not just like we were not doing some touristic things or like trying to pretend or trying to like show up for the family and here we go and bye. Like I really felt you being here on this journey with me. So I feel also a lot of love for you and for us. And I'm feeling Ariel, and I was thinking that would be beautiful as this is sort of, I feel this closure of this month, and also I want to say like this was the place where we birthed this Making Love podcast that we've been dreaming, or you've been dreaming for a long time, and I sort of a year ago heard about it for the first time, and I feel quite special that we started it here in my in the city, in my homeland, and we were like, okay, like there was a journey towards it, and suddenly, so it's birth.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we are leaving Czech, I'm also like, wow, you help us birth this baby, which I feel is so special, making love. And Ariel, and so and I felt like today, like sharing or talking about how because yesterday we talked about Ariel and who Ariel is, and
Do you want me to?
I would love you
Yeah.
to tell how we came to that.
So Ariel is the name that we've given our relationship, or maybe this being brought that name, and it's the idea, not the idea. I mean, I think it's the recognition that ideas and relationships have essentially thoughts and minds and dreams of their own. So when two people come together, they create something that is not one of them, not either of them, but is some lovemaking of the both of them. And I think that this has been talked about in a lot of different ways, but let's call it's the idea of a third in a dyadic, in a two relationship. But it's also the same as like a corporate entity can be. It's a thought form essentially that people are getting together, and for instance, in a corporate entity, you might be saying, I'm going to create this entity that's going to hold me and a whole bunch of us, and we're going to do something, and it's going to provide sustenance, and I'm going to give it my life force, and then it's going to give these things back. And so there's a bit of a conversation, prayers or programming or legal paperwork, depending on the time that we're in. But I think we talked about this a little bit as we were leaving Thailand, and we had kind of a powerful few days, and we decided to sort of be like, okay, if we did have a relationship, what would the personality of it be? And over the course of really about 2 days, I think we kind of were like, whoa, we felt it, and we felt this being. So we've been in a relationship for a year, but in the naming of trying to find out what was special about our relationship, and really what I didn't know about our relationship and what you didn't know about our relationship, kind of allowed us to be in curiosity with what felt like a being that started to talk to us, maybe much like a business or an idea would be like, oh, I understand what this is. And then we kind of went through that, and then you felt a name come in, and it was and I think maybe there was a meditation that you had sitting by the ocean in Thailand, and that name felt true and right to me. So we said, okay, let's get to know Ariel, and so that's the maybe backstory of who that is. And I would say that for me, I'm still very much getting to know her. But what I will say is, for me, and then I'll pass it off, what I felt in the following week was a sense of, it's not even trust for you, but it's almost like in meeting or believing in this relationship as its own thing, I was able to release the places where I didn't trust you and be in the journey of relationship and just be like, wow, we're doing it. Where before I'd felt like I was protecting myself. And maybe I felt something similar. And so I think then it really set the stage for a lot of the deep shadow work or work that we've been doing then here in your homeland for me to just, and I've checked in with this being, and I'm just like, okay, when things are stressful, I can check in there and it feels beautiful and pure, and like it has your best interest at heart and my best interest at heart. And more importantly to me, what we both care about putting our energy into outside of us, into the world. And it feels like she can carry the work here and ensure that we're kind of like, it's serving that greater vision. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I felt when we named our relationship and it became a being, I felt really held. I felt suddenly there was a sense of like, oof, something holds us that it's outside of us. And I love, because I don't know how we came to, in these 2 days, I can't remember how we went there, but I do remember before I met you, I really had this realization when I was like, oh wow, if like if there's a partnership, two people come, it's like for me, if they're starting to do things, there's like a triangle, and then I was like, oh wow, right, like it's actually not about these two. This is just two corners. There is a third corner that is happening, and if you're not aware of it, you can be quite focused here, but it's not doing it's what's meant to do. And so when we were starting to talk about like the being, the entity, I was like, oh wow, of course, that's the triangle, that's the sacred geometry, that's like the Trinity, that's makes sense. And it's just an opening. And I think it's also in lovemaking, like in Tantra, but in lovemaking in general, it's if once we become aware that it's not just about these two beings, Shiva Shakti, but it's like the energy is not just flowing through from me to you, but it's actually reaching a God or the third that is the higher, then we are actually suddenly opening to everything. It's not these two polarities anymore, but it's becoming like the dimensions are starting to pop up. So I felt like we open up into a dimensionality within our relationship.
That was beautiful. Great.
And with Ariel, I remember, and I want to say that because it was so special. Why also the name? Like I was meditating by the ocean. We had a very special day, and I think you said the name, and I was like, let me feel into that. I think it was biblical. There was like a meaning, and I was like, oof. And then I went meditate by the ocean in Thailand, and I told you the day before I went for a swim, and there was this little tiny fish.
Oh yeah.
And I could not believe myself. Like I was swimming everywhere, and she would just follow me, and she would keep swimming here, and I would like do tricks to like make sure that I'm not crazy, that I'm not imagining this fish. But it was really always like I ran and she like went somewhere, and then she came up, and she was always like making love with me. And honestly, that was the most special experience because I felt like I met a long lost friend who just came and hang out with me. And then I swam out of the ocean and I sat down, and she would like still like swim around me, and I was like, how can a fish be so obsessed with me? And then you told me it's not the fish, it's the ocean. Like there was this, and the Ariel came to me somehow from the ocean, like it was like an element of water. And maybe now I'm making this up, like I'm giving it another meaning, but I do see the both of us very fiery. I think we know that. And I was like, of course, the third element is water, and it's the ocean. And you grew up on an ocean, and I also, when I look you in the eyes, like I see ocean, so there is, the element of water made sense.
It's beautiful. And I think I would, it doesn't need to go, I'll just clarify probably what I was saying is that the fish knew itself as the ocean. Or a better way to put that is maybe the fish didn't know itself as a self. Right. It just knows itself as everything that, and so it's just a being, and so it's a clear channel. I was like, it's a good hollow bone, a fish for the ocean. If the ocean wanted to talk to you, that's probably the ocean's best way. Yeah. And I think as a manifestation of, I mean, this isn't something, I mean, I think that I know this to be true about the way the unseen world works is when we are open to it, it communicates in mysterious ways. And that doesn't mean that everything that we imagine is true, but certainly when we question things that are not in form, that like our imagination, our own questioning and doubt is the first thing that can get in the way of anything communicating with us that is unseen. Anything from spirit, anything that's just an animal or a tree that wants to communicate, at the point that we doubt it, that's just the very first hurdle that we have to get across as humans, is our own self-doubt. So, I mean, I think just in terms of how it turned out, that fish was a communication from
mystery.
From the mystery and from maybe Ariel. Like that was it's a like, yeah, this is what it's meant to be. You're meant to think of water and dream of water while you're with this, and you're meant to feel blessed by the ocean because the ocean is here to hold you and think of your relationship as watery, so you don't have too much fire with this man.
And I just had a flashback too, because this is, I feel like you brought a lot of, since I met you, there's a lot of confirmation of, before I met you, I thought I was crazy. There was a lot of like,
crazy.
But when I met you, I was like, oh my God, this person is like talking my language to a certain degree, and you would then basically bring me faith back into what I've been seeing and what I've been communicating with and how I am channeling and so on. And you teach me a lot. And there was a moment in Pi where I think it was a rainy day, and in the morning there was some beautiful unfolding the day before. I can't remember exactly, but I went out everywhere. So I went meditate downstairs, and I look around me, and there was these little snails, when they come out after the rain, and they were all losing their houses, like they were coming out of their shells. And then I look, and I was like looking, and I was like, how is this possible that it's everywhere? There was not like one or two, it was like all of them at the same time. And then I came back, and I was just like, oh, interesting. I guess in Thailand on this day and this time, there's like the season of snails coming out of their shells. And you were like, no, I think this is the mystery communicating to you something. I think this is directly a message to you. And it hit me, in that moment I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how I felt when I came out. I felt like I was coming out of my shell, like I was coming out of my little snail house and like picking up, with the eyes again. And so that hit me when you said that, and I was like, whoa, that is so true. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it feels like the topic of truth. One way you're like, so one thing that we could be doing is meeting each other and deciding that we're going to be crazy together. And that, I'm good with that. That's quite beautiful, because I would say for me and how I walk through the world, what I know is an absolute truth is that I don't have everything figured out, and I don't know what's going on. And so really, I would say for me, what I feel is that when I believe that I know what's happening, that's actually when I'm truly the most crazy. When I think I have it all figured out and my world is quite organized, and I go there and I've been there. But when I release that and recognize that I don't have it all figured out, and there's a lot of mysterious things that are being answered by science, by just us growing, by many different things, and regularly we are always discovering more truth and more things that are truth. And it's not like, oh, that thing was false. It's more like we're adding on. It's like a Lego set, and we're adding on more pieces. And so I just recognize that truth is malleable, and then one thing that feels that maybe I offered you, and maybe how we walk, is just recognizing that together we don't have it all figured out, and there's something in that allows you to listen to and to be curious with like, then what is actually happening here? Mm-hmm. And a lot of what's happening here is in this world, in this material world, in this middle world, is it's a mirror, and it's a lot of feedback, and it's a lot of unseen stuff. And so then I don't pretend to have it figured out, but I am like, well, definitely I've had absolute confirmation that things like snails sometimes are communications to me and to maybe other things. But like there's ways where the things that I pick up on, if I don't have to ascribe meaning to everything, but if something feels like it wants me to find meaning with it, then I can stay curious and find it, and it usually can quite resonate.
No, totally. And I actually think the snails, maybe that they would, come out of their house anyway, but it's more me coming out and like seeing it. It's this like I'm witnessing something that maybe, and so like I think what you just said makes a lot of sense, that it's also you feel it like when it's a message to you, and then you also choose and you can play with it, but I think we're so programmed to to believe or see the reality only how there's like so much limitations, and
well, maybe I can ask a final question to you then. If we think about what we're discovering in our lovemaking today is truth and getting to know our relationship, Ariel, a little bit more. Do you want to close with just saying something? As you're in relationship with who that being is and what's true and what's still a mystery.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing me back from my snails to Ariel.
Us. It's lovemaking. I mean, I think we're learning. Like it's
No, I definitely feel like I wanna close. Going back to Ariel, I feel held by this being. I know yesterday we were like, oh, what are these values? We came up with like, like not my value and your value, but like our shared values. And there was truth, curiosity, and then we were looking for the third one, which we're still looking, and it was coming like centeredness, rooting, but we're not. So as we are parting away, I am feeling very trusting, and that's beautiful. And there's this also sense like I just woke up from a dream and I'm like, oh, love, come with me to the next dream. But I know that we're meant to now like do our own thing and then come back. And I already know when we will meet in the States, I'm feeling from my side, I'm feeling we're gonna meet in new selves. Like there's gonna be some different meeting. And so to close today, I'm grateful to Ariel for like holding us through this through this time of Czech, because I think that was so necessary to have this being coming here, because it was just before we left Thailand, and it was not easy to be on this journey, but it was beautiful and profound, and I feel stronger in us. I feel I know you a little bit more, and I feel like you know me definitely a little bit more, especially maybe that's more what's happening, but I'm also...
No, I feel known by you. Quite, like I feel seen. I feel I feel seen in my imperfections, which strangely feels really, really good. Yeah. In my messy humanness.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to meet you in some time and see where we're at.
See who we are.
Who we are, exactly. See who we are and how we make love then.
Beautiful.